I know you'll probably ask me why I wanted to do Western States, but at some point it just became about winning that freaking lottery. Like that's what I became obsessed about. I really forgot about the 100 miler. I just wanted to win the lottery.
We are back.
Hi. How you doing?
We are back with another Canadian trail to Western States.
What number is this?
I think this is number 6?
6?
I'm not too sure. Oh, well. You guys tell us. Email us at GottaRunRacing@gmail.com.
Well, that's right. Reach out. We like to hear from you.
Yeah. So, what is happening with GottaRunRacing?
Monarch Relay, Monarch Virtual, still available. GottaRunRacing.com. We still have some 30K and 50K segments available in Ontario. It's a relay that's going to be 1,800 kilometers, 21 days this fall. Don't miss it.
And the virtual is still going on too. We need 430 runners for that.
Yes.
Each doing 10K to
That's
represent
right.
what?
To represent the total distance that the monarch butterfly migrates from Mexico to Canada in the spring. So if one little butterfly can fly 4,300 kilometers, surely we can have 430 people run 10 kilometers each.
I think I'm going to do that myself solo.
Sure, you can do that. But you got to register 430 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And I may need some aid stations along the way.
You're on your own.
Okay. In today's podcast, we have Sarah Seads.
Sarah Seads from BC.
Yes. And she, I think, 3 tickets, maybe 4. We'll find out. Not too sure. But we have something in common. We both started off as adventure racers.
Ooh.
And our very first ultra was the Canadian Death Race, both of us.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear what she has to say and what got her on the route to Western States.
Let's do it.
Coming up.
Welcome, Sarah, from Vancouver Island, BC.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. This is so exciting.
What are you drinking today? Anything?
I'm drinking cacao, actually.
Ooh.
Ceremonial cacao. Yes, it's
Lovely.
my new adventure and very grounding. How about you guys? What are you drinking?
I have a latte because I was feeling a little sleepy because it's 4 p.m. in Ontario, so it's about that time for caffeine.
I got a Steam Whistle beer, which is hoped to be our sponsor soon. Cheers.
Nice.
Cheers.
Yeah, good. You better show that off then.
So thank you for fitting us in. I understand you're in the middle of a move.
Yes, I am. So next Zoom meeting will be in a bus, my new bus that I'm moving into for the summer to have some adventures in. Yeah.
So will we see you on Instagram, #vanlife, or what's the deal?
Yes, soon. I'm still working through the layers of acceptance. And once I'm, moved in, for sure, it's going to be really fun to share Gus the Bus.
So what precipitated this decision?
Well, I had to be out of the place I'm renting just for the summer. So just for a few months. And I don't know, it just came to me. I thought, why not? I'm in the process of moving my entire business online. So I'm digital. And, right now, the way that the world is traveling, it's nice to have, once we're able to move about, to have your own little space.
Right.
And I thought, what better way to explore, more of my island, even if we're stuck, quote unquote, on Paradise Island, or, in BC, once we're able to move around a little bit, than having your own little tiny home. So, yeah, I'm going for it.
Are you going to be putting all kinds of videos on your YouTube channel with your new transition? Yes.
I'm sure it'll be hard to resist. I'm sure there'll be a little, TikTok game going on and, and Instagram and YouTube. It is pretty fun. I'm getting pretty excited. Just like it's basically, a home on wheels, but it's going to be fun to personalize things and add a few touches. And I'm learning stuff. I didn't even know what AC, DC, power, battery, any of that stuff was. So I'm learning. It's a whole new world. There's lots of new aisles I'm exploring at Canadian Tire.
Nice.
So you're going to be exploring a lot of new trails, I assume, too.
Exactly. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So to be continued, based on what happens here in June with Western States and with our ability to move around. But I know for sure I can go explore more of the island, which will be really fun.
That's awesome.
Well, we came across your name because of the lucky Canadians who got into the Western States lottery. How lucky do you feel?
Totally. I mean, as you know, it's a little anticlimactic after, it's been a while since that name got pulled. But so lucky, I mean, I know you'll probably ask me why I wanted to do Western States, but at some point it just became about winning that freaking lottery. Like that's what I became obsessed about. I really forgot about the 100 miler. I just wanted to win the lottery.
So before all that, let's go way back because I think you and I have something in common. We were both adventure racers before ultras. Is that right? You were an adventure racer first?
Yes. Such a huge passion of mine. Spent many years doing, mostly sprint races, but some 24-hour races. And yeah, just my pure joy. You as well? That's wonderful.
Yes, that's how I started. Yeah, and it was a huge wake-up call for me. I thought that I was in shape until I became an adventure racer. And then it's like, I am so out of shape.
It's wild, isn't it? But such great mental strength to cross over into ultra, like going from adventure racing to ultra, right? You're like, yes. Oh, I just have to do one discipline? Perfect.
Yeah. Until you did the Canadian Death Race, which was my first ultra marathon as well, the Canadian Death Race.
Wow, go big or go home, right?
Yeah. Mine was back in 2005. 2005?
Yeah, I think it was
2005. I did the Canadian Death Race, yeah. So how was that first experience transitioning over into ultra marathon with the Canadian Death Race from adventure racing? How was that?
It was wonderful. I had to look that up so that was 2011. And I was actually training for the Fat Dog in BC, and it got canceled that year because of high snowpack. I don't know if you remember that year, a bunch of races got canceled. And, it was my first ultra. I had been training, and this happened maybe 4 weeks out. They said no race. And it was like, are you kidding me? I have to do something with all this fitness, right? And so I kind of got in there with a little petition to the race directors and said, hey, how about this Canadian Death Race? I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was around the same time. And they worked their magic and allowed all the fat doggers to go into the CDR, even though it was sold out. Like they made this great exception for us.
Nice.
And I believe just maybe myself and one other man made the leap because it was, instead of 80K, it was 125K. So it was a bit of a jump, but it was pretty fun. I remember running to him. Oh, what's his name? Kerry. I'm sure you'd know him. I'll have to look up his name, but I remember running into this man on the course, and I knew he was a transfer from Fat Dog because we had these special bibs made up that said Fat Dog instead of your name. And we were out on the Canadian Death Race course with this, you were just Fat Dog. And that's what they called you when you came into aid. It was pretty funny. And I ran into the other guy. He was barfing in the bushes when I met him. And I was like, oh, you're the other Fat Dogger. I think he rallied.
That's awesome.
I'm curious because you did get a ticket for Western States with that death race. Did you not put your name in the lottery then, or did you?
I didn't know anything about the Western States when I did that race. I qualified twice before I'd even heard of the Western States. So yeah, I qualified there, and then in 2015 in the Miwok in San Fran, qualified there, but still hadn't heard of it. I think it was probably around then that I heard about, the Western States. Yeah.
So then you went to Iceland. Is that something that happened next?
Yeah, so we've done a few ultras as part of my business, Equilibrium Lifestyle Management. So as a coach, I started taking athletes around the world. Well, before that, I think Hawaii, an Xterra race was our first one. So we would train together, either virtually, sometimes in person, and then travel together to some amazing place around the world to do a celebratory race. And Iceland was one of those. And
Nice.
Man, was that phenomenal. Like it's another world. I don't know, have you been there or?
We haven't, but it's on our bucket list for sure. We have a friend that's been there a couple times that's done a stage race, and he just raved about it. It sounds amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the list for sure.
It's stunning. And the race course was probably the most diverse terrain. It was like 7 different worlds, 7 different planets. Like, it's just hard to even explain, like geysers of like blue bubbling sulfur stuff, and then crossing glaciers and beside volcanoes, and then you finish in like a lush oasis valley, and every different thing under your feet you could imagine.
Do you remember how you found out about Western? Was it from another runner, or did you see something online, or?
It might have been my friend Kim Seneschal. We were traveling to do a lot of these races together. We would make it a social thing. So every year we would pick a race for many years to meet up at as a chance to connect when we were in different communities. And it might have been there. And then, it was great because it gave me an incentive. I just knew, okay, this year I'm doing 100K. There was no motivation required. I just, it just kept me going without having to like, oh, what's the point? What am I training for? None of those issues came up because I had a little project. Right. So that was really fun. And then I ended up doing the Lost Souls in Lethbridge for 3 years in a row as my qualifiers. It was nice because it's closest to home, and such a beautiful community there.
What's the elevation like on that race? I can imagine it's pretty intense.
At the Lost Souls?
Yeah.
It was actually more than I thought, because I'm coming from, islands from BC, there are mountains on the island, but from BC in general. And I'm thinking Alberta, it's going to be just flatlands, but it runs through the coulees. And I want to say each 50K lap had 1,500 meters. Like it was shocking. But they're so short and so steep and so relentless that there's no real break, but so different than I was used to doing long continuous climbs.
Right.
Yeah. And super hot there too.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. First year I did it was record breaking heat. I think it was 40 degrees in the coulees. And 35 up top where the breeze was.
Wow.
And we had a record smoke year. It was a record smoke year as well. First year I did it.
That first year, you came second overall.
I did. That was amazing. I had no idea. There was just one dude in front of me the whole race. Nobody told me. And I didn't, anticipate being in that position. There's other types. There's 100 milers and 50Ks and other things going on. You don't know what's happening. And I'm just running for the joy and the love. And I'm not, my phone's in my bag. I don't know what's going on. People are messaging me, but I had no idea. And it wasn't until I'd done maybe 70K that I found out that I was second, and I'd been first overall for the first 50 or 60K, and I didn't know. And then I remember the guy who won in the end. I remember when he passed me because I was bent over with heartburn, almost barfing my guts out. It was a horrible moment. And I didn't know that I was moving into second place, which is great because then there was absolutely nothing going on in my mind to do with that angle. But once I found out, I was like, what? Why didn't you people tell me? I remember yelling at the aid station. Like, I had no idea. Yeah, so that was a fun roller coaster because, you know, I was just out there to have fun, and I was happy to survive this epic heartburn 20K of almost, you know, walking 15 to 20K, that I was so joyous just to be running again that, you know, all the other stuff, placements are bonus. So
that's incredible.
And then the second year there, was there any difference between game plan wise? Now you know the course, now you know what to expect. What were you doing going into the second year?
Yeah, you know it. Things change once you've been there and once you've won.
Yes, now everybody knows who you are now.
And that was a totally new experience to me in ultras. Like, yeah, you know, in adventure racing, I had primarily podium finishes, and, you know, that was a real joy and bonus and part of my experience. But in ultras, you know, I was there to complete the distance. But I didn't know that maybe I put a little pressure on myself after that. But come to think about it, the energy was different when I got to the race. Like, I really wanted to beat my time. Like, I usually let the performance goals, like the numbers, go because there's so many variables and I don't know who's going to show up. Like, I can't control the 1, 2, 3 to 10 where I am. I can just control my you know, what I can control, the variables I can control. And that's how I sort of rate the success of an event is, did I do the best I can with the tools I have? But I did want to beat my time because I knew the course and I knew I had walked because of the heartburn. And so I was like, oh, if I just run through that, I'm going to be able to, you know, I could get that number down by XYZ. Ended up being significantly slower in the end, which is so interesting. I still got the heartburn, so that continued to plague me. And just some things I had been experimenting with didn't turn out so well. And really what had happened is I had 2 calf tears that year. And so I'd been out for about 4 to 6 weeks with each of those. So I was just lucky to get to the start line. Like, I healed just in time for that race. So it was, you know, you just use what you got when the day comes.
But in the third year now, you came back with a vengeance.
Oh, no, you know what? I came back with joy. I just said, forget about the times. Like, yes, I wanted to make the cutoff for the qualifier. That was it. And I said, forget about the past and run for the gift of it, you know, and that's how I always ran before. And it's how I feel most fulfilled when I'm running, you know, is just to celebrate with gratitude the gift to be there. And, you know, in the end, that fills you up with a beautiful lightness. And I did come in prepared with the hypnosis. You know, I was ready to barf if I had to barf, and I did. And and it was way more relaxing, and it was my fastest time of the 3. So I was super stoked to beat my first time. Yeah.
Awesome. And did you place that year?
Yeah, I believe I was still second. I didn't write that one down, but
is that 2018 or third female 2019? Yeah.
2019. Or third overall, yeah, fastest time and third, right? But the first year I was first and the time was slower. So that's what I mean. It's about
whoever shows
how
up.
You feel, and those numbers are secondary.
And I noticed that you did Zion. Was that a group trip as well, like with your people that you coach, or was that on your own?
that was just with my friend Kim. So yeah, that was just our personal adventure. And was that ever fun? Have you guys been there?
We were there the same year.
You guys were in the same race.
Yeah, we did the same. I did the 50 as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I have to ask you,
What do you?
I have to ask you, what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part of the course?
Of the course. Okay. Favorite part was up top. You know, where the really slick rock was, and there's like white dots on the rock to follow because there's no trail. And
The mesa?
I think I really
On top of the mesa.
The mesa.
Yes.
I think I really loved it because it was so otherworldly to be running on top of this big rock, and you know, it felt like you're on a big rock. And there was this young guy, he was fully embodying Killian, and he was leaping and dancing and running up the side of things like he was in an amusement park, and he just provided me with an hour of entertainment. It was amazing to see, like. So that was one of the highlights. I guess the finish I loved and hated. So I went for broke on that race, which I used, you know, I don't do that very often. I'm just like out there, just enjoying, you know, like, but this one I don't know, I didn't care about the consequences and I went for it and I ran harder. And at the end, I didn't time it right because it's not 50K, it's 55.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought I signed up for 50K. Coach Sarah didn't read that part on the registration form. And so at the end, I was like, I'm going for it. I'm just going to, you know, I'm counting down the kilometers. There's 10. How fast can I run for 10K? There's 9. And me and this guy just started sprinting, like, you know, you find that other gear sometimes. It's fun. And we were pushing each other on through those, you know, it's pretty flat at the end there.
Yeah.
And then we got to where my watch said it should have been the finish line, and there was no finish line in sight. And I said to the guy, you know, what distance do you have on your watch? He's like, well, it's 55K, you know. And I just died.
Every year that you put your name into the ring for Western, were you avidly watching the lottery, or were you kind of checking in after it happened? How did that play out for you?
No, I just figured someone would tell me if I got in. And then the third year, though, I knew. I just was like, this is my year. I had a lot of epic stuff happening in my personal life, and I just had this feeling. I was like, I'm going to win that lottery. And I guess some of my friends did too, because they watched it. They watched the draw. And next thing you know, I started getting these messages. Your name. Everybody's freaking out. And within an hour, we had flights booked, and I had my, you know, my crew ready to go. And we were booking hotels and cars. And then, as we know, that all got canceled. But it was very exciting at the time.
Have you deferred to next year, or are you still hoping that you can get there?
No, I didn't take the buy. So we had till April 15th to decide, the international travel, you know, racers, if we wanted to keep our ticket and risk it all. And I've kept it. So I'm planning on going. It's looking good. It's looking really good. Every week it looks better.
Wow. That's awesome.
Wow. You're gonna try to race in June.
I'm going to, yeah, I'm ticking off all the requirements, all the boxes. And it sounds the race is going by the sounds of things. Talking to people involved with the race, they're pretty positive. And California is welcoming visitors.
Tell us more about your business. How did it come about, and what types of coaching and services do you offer?
Well, thanks for asking. So we just celebrated, and I say we because it's just such a great community I'm a part of, but it is my business. 20 years. So in November was the 20-year anniversary, birthday of ELM. Yes, I started it when I moved here to the Comox Valley I'm a kinesiologist and a hypnotherapist, and so I combine the art and science of both of those in sort of mind and body health, fitness, and wellness coaching. I've been specializing as a running coach and working with endurance athletes all over the world and online to create training programs. And yeah, it's been really fun to incorporate more and more of the mental training side of things, because that's always been a passion of mine. And it's always been an element of coaching. But 2 years ago, when I went back to school to become a clinical hypnotherapist, it really elevated that element of my coaching and brought in a whole new realm of tools and skill sets to share with my clients. So it's really fun to fuse those. Right. As well as I'm a yoga and meditation teacher. So, I'm always bringing in different breath work, meditation, mindfulness practices that support our overall health. And then, of course, our running and our performance as well, so.
I would imagine over the last year and a bit with the pandemic that the shift has the focus has shifted for some of your clients
to motivation,
to more about the mental, because how do we be motivated as runners if we're used to racing and working towards a goal when it was like taken right from under us? I know personally, I run when I have a race. Norm will run just because. That's not me. So my motivation has severely lacked. And, it's taken me a year to go, well, wait a minute. You who knows how long this is going to last. So you got to figure out something.
So we're looking for some free advice.
Yeah, well, you're going to get it. I'm living it. We're all living it, right? And you just said something there that's a really powerful catalyst for growth in your world. When something is taken away from us, a motivation, like a superpower, I call them, like, we have these certain things that motivate us that it doesn't even take motivation when that element's in place. And for you, it could have been racing. Same with me. I would often just sign up for races. So the motivation element isn't even a consideration. You just know you're going to do that. So you're going to get out the door and do it. So what happens when these superpowers of motivation are taken away? Yeah, we scramble and we struggle for a while, but then what? Then we figure out new ways. And so it helps us really ultimately build the toolbox and figure out what other tools we can use for motivation.
Right.
And more intrinsic, right? I think more intrinsic motivations, like, the joy, the pleasure, the gift, the gratitude, things that are within us that can't be removed. That's, I think, been a big part of it for a lot of people, is to identify, well, what's my deepest core value or my why for running? Like, if the racing isn't there, we've been forced to figure out what that is. And ultimately, I believe that's such a gift, because it gives us another tool to draw upon. And so a lot of my athletes, well, there was a big shift. Some people pulled back from racing. Some people moved to, I have self-guided programs, which are like a download and go. So another level of coaching support. So some people moved to that. And then the athletes that I'm continuing to work with, we have really taken this as an opportunity to build the toolbox in other areas. So working on the mental side of things and getting the list out of all the obstacles we face and just ticking them off one by one with visualization, mental training, hypnosis, meditation, any of the practices. So it's really like a long-term investment. Like, this is an opportunity for us to expand and grow in other areas that are ultimately going to make us stronger and, more fully embodied athletes when that day comes that we get to race again. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Where can our listeners find you?
You can find me at elmhealth.com. My training programs are up there. And I'm on WildSeads on all my social channels. So all my adventures are there. And I've been doing a vlog series on my Instagram page about training for this 100-miler. So I'm just sharing my different techniques and what I'm doing. So if anyone's interested in seeing how that's going, they can check that out there.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Will this be your first 100-miler, Western States? Your first 100-miler?
Yes, it will. Tell me everything. What do I need to know?
Stay ahead of the bears.
Cougars.
Oh, yeah, cougars.
Well, before we wrap up, we're going to do a little rapid fire that we like to end our sessions with, but we'll definitely put up all of the your website and where to find you online so people can track you. And of all the people that we've chatted with so far that are heading to Western States, like I said, they are going next year. So if for whatever reason, and I don't hope for this, but if you don't go this year, you know that there's going to be a huge family of Canadians that will be cheering you on. We're going to start a Facebook group, and we're going to get to know each other before we get there so that you'll have people along the route that will be helping you out if you need it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Either way, it'll be this year or next year. I know it'll be exciting. Just it won't just be me there. It'll be everyone that I know, because we're all living through it together, right? At this celebration, to be able to have this chance to race again.
Well, it'll be exciting to watch you. We'll track you if
Absolutely.
that's the case, for sure. All right, are you ready?
For rapid fire.
I'm ready.
Okay. Butter tarts with or without raisins?
Oh, I think raisins.
Okay.
I am a vegan now. I haven't had a butter tart since November, but
Wow, good for you. Do you have a tattoo?
not a real one. I put fake ones on all the time.
Nice. Favorite type of vacation?
Oh, a little bit of beach time, a little bit of adventure time, hiking mountains. Bit of both.
Nice. So now that we're in a pandemic, where's the first place, if you could get on an airplane tonight, where would you go?
California. Going to Olympic Village.
Get there early, eh?
Get there early and train. Name a food you could eat for a week straight.
Avocados.
Oh, well, you'll be good in California, won't you? Superpower, yes. Pick a superpower.
That you like to have.
Oh, it's definitely, it's the mind. We've already got it right here.
Yeah, exactly. And last one, 80s or 90s music?
Oh, do I have to pick? Oh dear, I'm having flashbacks from both decades. I can't choose.
No.
I like both.
Well, then that brings me to one last question is, what's your post-race reward? What's the first thing you're looking for at the end of a race?
As soon as you cross.
Oh, as soon as I cross, well, it all depends. Sometimes you feel amazing, and other times you're just not really wanting to eat. But assuming I feel really good, I'm going to say a veggie burger and fries. Just
Yes.
So crazy.
With a beer?
Maybe with a kombucha.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a treat speaking
so
with you
much.
today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to listening to the other episodes. Yeah, I've just checked out everybody's recently, so I can't wait to hear everybody else's story.
And good luck with your move, and we'll be following your new bus life adventure.
On your YouTube channel. It's Wild Seads on YouTube as well, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Wild Seads.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's see there.
All right. Thanks so much. Good luck.
We'll be watching.
So great to see you guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it. Wild Seeds.
Sarah Seads from BC. And our first guest who actually might be doing Western
Yes,
this year.
she's planning on going this year, June. And I hope she gets there. I hope she
Yeah.
does well and doesn't have heart issues. Or
Heartburn.
Heartburn or whatever it is.
Well, it sounds like she's conquered that,
Yeah.
right? Through
Sounds
her
good.
hypnotherapy.
And it's going to be her first 100-miler.
That's right.
Which is going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
I was intrigued by what she was saying in terms of how to increase your mental strength and little tips that she uses with her clients to.
That's true. Because a lot of people, they build their legs, they build their arms, they build their running, and they don't build the mind.
That's right. And it's just as important a muscle.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Until next time, you can check us out at GottaRunRacing.com and leave comments below.